If your team is still manually building cost reports every month, this changes everything forever. Not one, not two, but 3 AI disruptors are already reshaping project cost reporting. And in this session, I'm going to show you exactly what they are live. Let's get into it. It's about a minute in, so we'll get underway. All right. So for those of you that don't know me, my name is Jackson Rowe. Ignore Doug Vincent, the name tag in the left. But I'm the North American market lead at Mastt. And actually prior to Mastt, I was a project manager myself. So I sort of know firsthand what it's actually like to generate and maintain the cost report. And back when I was actually on the tools, I used to have what I thought was a pretty damn impressive spreadsheet. And it had all sorts of things going on, conditional formatting, all the formulas, all the backend trackers, the covering sheet. But and after sort of leaving that and now seeing the direction where the industry's actually gone in recent times, I can sort of see that spreadsheet wouldn't have really held up at all. So I'm excited to show off a few things today. So just a few quick housekeeping things. If you have any questions at all, drop them in the Q&A box and I'll do my best to answer them at the end. And I'll also be sure to circulate a full link to the recording after the session as well. So let's get underway. Alrighty, so today's agenda, what we're going to do, we're going to review the current state of play relating to cost reporting, as well as sort of evolution. So looks to sort of set the context of how we actually got here. We'll be looking at 3 specific AI disruptors that I'm calling them, and how they're actually active in the industry now and how these are able to be leveraged to your benefit. So for 2 of these disruptors, I've actually got a live demo to show off, one of which will actually be a real cost report that we'll be able to produce in seconds. And I'll also be able to show you how we can actually share that live with stakeholders and clients. And then just to wrap up, we'll view just a very simple framework just to help assess where your team sort of actually sits today. So you can sort of see what stage you're at and what the next steps forward actually look like for you. So let's jump in and get stuck straight into it. So project cost reporting and its evolution. So it hasn't actually really changed. There's still Excel, there's still PDFs, there's still Word. Everything needs to be manually sort of connected or stitched up together. And yeah, quite often it's slow, it's repetitive, it's a laborious task. And by the time that it's actually presented, quite often the information is out of date. And then what's the point of that? So you're pulling data, you're formatting it, you're double checking it every month. And for what? Potentially something that might not actually be accurate and might not be telling the full story. So let's unpack a bit of the problem with project cost reporting. So the crazy part about all this is the tools got smarter, but the process necessarily didn't. So cost reporting hasn't really changed in 20 to 30 years. Like I just said, it's still like the exact same process. We're collecting data, we're compiling it, we're reviewing it, we're circulating it. The viewer actually has to digest it and understand it. And like I said, every single month. And that's sort of a bit of a minimum. So it can happen more regularly on that weekly basis as well. So during this time, the tools have actually gotten way better. We've progressed from Excel to ERPs, and they've got all these modern platforms sort of available on the market as well. But the actual workflow itself, it's all still manual. So like I said, repetitive, laborious, time-consuming work that is taking up, I suppose, like billable hours for the valuable resources in the industry that actually could be better used, basically. And then, so what we've essentially done as well with sort of these tools is rather than, I suppose, these tools have just been bought in and we've just basically layered them on an existing problem and process. And no one has ever really actually taken sort of a look under the hood and actually gone, okay, how can we actually change up this process rather than just bringing in these potential Band-Aid solutions? So fundamentally, that's just the real problem. It's the process. It's not necessarily the tools. And that's what no one actually really sort of stopped to question. All right. So, bit of an evolution of this all. So, just zoom out. How do we actually get here? So, over the last 20 to 30 years, the tools have kept evolving, like I said. So, we first started in the 90s with the spreadsheet. And look, that does financial modeling great. Probably isn't to be used on hundreds of millions of dollars worth of capital projects. But look, we're here anyway. And like I said before, when I was a PM, this is sort of what I used to cut my teeth on as well. So Excel's got a very soft spot in my heart, but probably shouldn't be used for this exact purpose. We then had the ERPs, so the big software packages. They came in, and then we started moving a little bit more dynamically within the past decade to start introducing more sort of tailored and bespoke project management platforms. And then we've sort of got dashboards associated with that as well. But I guess like each time the tools, like I said, tools got better, but the process definitely didn't. So with Excel, it was all sort of, and still is, sort of all manual entry. With ERP, it was still the same process, just in a different system, a lot of things siloed, nothing really connected. However, with these project management platforms, things started to get a little bit nicer. We started to get some automated dashboards. But up until sort of recent times and recent years, someone sort of still had to pull everything together. So in every year and sort of in every era, they improved tools, but nothing ever actually really changed how the work got done. And that's what sort of makes this moment sort of a little bit different. Like in 2026, for the first time, it's not just the tools changing, but we're actually looking at the process itself. And this is what these AI disruptors have actually been able to do and enable us to actually leverage. So the cost of staying still and staying in the old world. So what does this actually cost you? First, I can almost guarantee your reports are almost out of date. By the time they reach your stakeholders, data can be days, weeks old. So you're actually making decisions on yesterday's picture. So sort of what's the point? Secondly, you've got your best people doing actual low value work. So the person building these reports could be your most experienced, sort of highly billable person. And you've actually got them doing sort of like that grunt work. So that's spending hours compiling, formatting, and just basically a waste of a resource and a wasted opportunity. Third, the errors start to compound. When you're copying and pasting things, no matter how good you are, how proficient, I can guarantee you're not going to drag things the whole way down. There might be a formula that might not be linked. You're tracking and linking to other sheets that you might not even have access to. So mistakes lead to sort of trust issues. And as a PM, your cost report, that's sort of like your bread and butter. Like that's something that you need to be 100% certain on. And you just need to be able to give trust to your stakeholders and be able to give meaning behind the numbers as well. And finally, sort of a bit of an interesting take that we're sort of seeing here at Mastt is, do people actually read these detailed reports? Like, being realistic, people just probably skim the summary, they skip to the detail and just wait for the actual meeting to occur. So you sort of end up with a bit of a process that's slow, expensive, error-prone, and ultimately just sort of really low impact and something that can definitely be improved on. And this is something that I'm definitely seeing in the industry now. All right, so what's actually changing? There are essentially just three real shifts sort of all happening simultaneously. The first is just about process replacement. So it's not just improvement. It's replacement. So AI isn't just another layer on top of your existing workflow. It's actually been able to use to start replacing the workflow itself, which is actually really cool. So secondly, this automation is, I suppose, it enables you to work at a completely different scale. So for the first time, like this grunt work you're able to be automated. It can be done without a human actually sitting there and building it. So your resources can actually be sent out, like I said before, doing completely different things. And lastly, thirdly, there's basically a real first mover advantage here. So we're still very much like in our infancy with this. The teams that do move early don't just save time. They're actually able to compound that advantage sort of every single month. So yeah, this just isn't basically about being more efficient. It's sort of changing how the work gets done and who actually gets ahead as a result of that. And the three things that are actually driving this shift is a perfect segue into the next section that I've got here. All right, just take a deep breath. So we've got three different disruptors that I'm going to show off to you and sort of explain to you at the moment. So these are already actually reshaping how project financials are being managed. So first up, we've got the AI augmented tools. So this is where AI is being built into the tools that you actually already use, making them not only faster, smarter, but also just more connected to your general workflow as well. Secondly, we've got our AI generated reports. So this is where the real step change is sort of happening. So instead of actually building these reports manually, they're actually being generated in seconds. There's no sort of like QA component behind it because there's already existing infrastructure in place that's pulling the information through in the right way. So we'll look into that. And then thirdly, it's this concept of AI agents. And yeah, this is where sort of AI really moves beyond assistance and it's actually moving into monitoring, deciding, and even acting on your behalf, which is pretty cool. And I know it's something I utilize in my workflows sort of on a daily basis. But let's jump into the first one, the AI augmented tools, our first disruptor. And this is definitely the easiest place to start. And I can actually guarantee that most teams are already closer than this than they probably actually think. So AI, in this sense, isn't necessarily a completely new tool that you have to go out and adopt. It's actually being built into the tools that we already use. So, like I said, making everything smarter, faster, and more connected. It's not about ripping out your current systems. It's about more of getting out of sort of your stack and your platforms that you sort of already use. And the best example of this right now is sort of what's happening inside Excel. So it's a tool that every single team sort of already has open, and now sort of AI through the demo that I will show you, it's the Claude add-in and the Claude for Excel. And basically AI can now sort of read your data, can understand structure, and actually sort of help you generate outputs sort of all without the manual work. And one important thing that I like to think of, sort of, if AI can do this sort of so quickly within like a 30-year-old sort of legacy like spreadsheet tool, imagine what it can actually do like across your whole reporting process sort of moving forward. So I am going to share my screen and I'm going to jump into Excel. So the first demo, what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you how I can actually use the Claude add-in just through a simple prompt and actually build out a project cost tracking report. So I've gone to Excel. In the top right-hand corner, I'm going to click on my Claude add-in. And what I'm going to do here, I'm going to copy and paste a prompt. I don't want you to watch me type, so I'm just going to go ahead and do that. All right. So just first up, I don't know sort of how many of you are familiar with these sort of AI tools, but what Claude's actually doing, I'm just using the basic Sonnet 4.6 model. So this is sort of like the default, it's the recommended thing sort of for everyday tasks. So on the right-hand side, actually, let's start. So what I did, I just input a simple prompt. So create a construction cost report for me as an owner's representative working on large commercial construction projects. I chucked in a little bit of additional context, make it comprehensive and make it awesome. Look, a little bit of fun. I'm interested to see what it is going to spit out. I actually use this all the time. It's pretty nifty. So what it is doing first up, it's actually providing its thinking. So it is reporting back to me. I've used natural language in my prompt. I've been specific. I've included what I'm after. I've included the role. And basically it is reporting back to me what it's actually going to do. So I started just with that blank Excel sheet. It is telling me it's going to generate a cover summary sheet. Okay, cool. Few different things: snapshot, key metrics, status indicators. We're then going to look at a bit of a budget tracker. So that'll be a supporting tab on the sheet. So, okay, original budget, we're going to look at changes, revised budget, committed costs. Okay, our EAC variance. We're then going to introduce a schedule of values. All right, so it's going to have a line-by-line breakdown. All right, change order log. Okay, interesting. Pretty cool to see what that does. Cash flow and draw schedule. Obviously very important and something that would be contributing into our overall cost report that we're going to be looking at generating. Contingency tracker. Okay. Cost trend log. All right. So this will span 7 tabs. Great. So it's again, telling us what it's going to do and how it's going to go about doing it. If I look at my Excel, I can see that it has generated those tabs originally. So I can see got my cover sheet, got my project summary, schedule values, change order log, cash flow, contingency, cost trends. All right, so this will probably take a few minutes. However, I know I used to have to sort of be in this position, and I'm sure you all have sort of on this call as well. Like producing a blank project cost report template could take hours, could take days. Again, making sure that it's linked. So it's not only just making sure that you need to update it, but actually being able to produce the thing at the beginning and making sure that all the cells are all connected up, neatly, and basically that whole trust piece. So that's massive. All right, again, a little bit of an action here. So it has reported back to me on this right-hand side that the cover is done. So what has Claude done? Do not disappoint me, please. All right. So not only has it set up a nice, simple dashboard, but it is taking the liberty of actually populating some sample information as well. So cool. So we'll start with project info. We've got some project details. All right. We've got some key financial metrics. So tracking original contract, change orders. Yep. Nice summaries. Oh, okay. That just jumped. Let me go back to the cover. So it's just confirmed back to me that the budget summary sheet has been built. That's great. All right. So looking at this, performance indicators. Cool. Project status dashboard. Great. Key milestone tracker. Awesome. All right. Let's jump into the budget summary and see what it's done. All right. Wow. So as you can see, all I told it was adopt the role. So the persona, told it sort of what I work on. So it has given me a budget summary that I'm sure is in line with a lot of hard construction costs. We've also got our soft cost. Oh, okay. It's now pushed me to schedule the value. So let's just get back. Soft costs and fees. Cool. These look like our standard things. Contingency allowance. It's great. And then looking at columns, the original budget, approved COs, revised budget, committed costs. Great. Now, these look like just number plugins. So, okay, that's a formula. And look, it looks like it's nailed that. So that's pretty cool. So this is like a nice, simple, I suppose, well, very simple, because all I did was just gave it a prompt and the AI is actually sort of doing the rest. But yeah, I think we sort of all get the gist of sort of where this is going. So if I now go schedule of values, all right, that is bringing in sort of my full schedule of values, like a bit of a continuation sheet. All real cool. Now, I probably sat on this for a few minutes now. Probably don't want to waste the whole webinar watching this sort of unfold. But I think you can sort of all see the power that that this sort of simple feature in the existing tool is already done. So change order log, great. This is awesome. Let's go back to our covering sheet. So, okay, this is linked correctly to a different thing. Cool. All right. So that is our first AI disruptor. Claude already existing in Excel. Now, let me go back to my PowerPoint. All right. So second disruptor. And this is sort of things, sort of where things started to change. So like AI generated reports. So today, a typical cost report on a monthly basis takes 6-8 hours to put together, sometimes longer. Sort of like what you're actually doing on that monthly basis, collating, processing, formatting, circulating, digesting, it adds up. So with that, AI can actually sort of change that and sort of drop it to seconds. And again, not minutes, but seconds. And we'll look at shortly just how that actually does that. And just important to the time, you're actually sort of removing manual steps involved as well. So it's no data entry, no formatting, no reconciliation. And then when you actually remove manual copy and paste, you sort of actually remove the errors that also come with it. So how does this actually work? Ooh, okay. So the next demo that I'm going to show you, this is actually going to be a really quick Mastt one. And what we do, first up, we've got a pre-set up structure already, nice and simple. We're going to drop project data in. Our inbuilt AI tool is going to read it and it's going to populate the form and it's actually going to field it where it needs to go. It is automatically going to update our cost tracker and will also update our cost dashboard as well that we will take a look at. And last but not least, one of our cool new features that we've just released is we're able to share this live with our stakeholders that we want to do. So all this sort of manual effort that used to sort of take hours has sort of become something that we can pull together sort of somewhat instantly and will also stay up to date. All right. So I am just jumping into Mastt here. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to hop into my project A. So this is just my demo environment for people that have not seen Mastt before. I'm not going to do a full demo of the platform. I'm going to try and be really specific. So this is one of our out-of-the-box cost plan templates. All I did was I clicked that start dashboard, selected the template, and it populated the data. It is pulling through data in real time from our backing cost, risk, and schedule modules. But all we're looking at here is our cost stuff. So we've got our dashboard readiness panel on the right-hand side. And what I want to do is just show you how simple it is just to update through AI our cost tracker and our cost report. So I'm going to click on Update Contract Data. This is going to take me to our contracts register. So we've jumped into our cost module, gone to contracts. I'm now going to click Add Contract. What I am going to do is I'm actually going to drag and drop a PDF form. So what this is doing, my hand is completely off the mouse. We've got our AI report running in the top right-hand corner. It is scanning that PDF. It is populating the information that we require to actually get into this. So even with Excel, no matter how good that Claude thing was, you'd still need to actually sort of update this once it's actually built. But what Mastt is going to be doing, it's actually going to be reading the data that we submitted. So it's filling out, 32 seconds. It has provided some key fields across the top. I'm just going to select which budget I would like this nested under. It's got the full schedule of values in. If I click on roles, it's pulling out details as well. So look, we can trust it. It's getting the information we need. It's given a summary. It's attached the PDF as well. And I'm going to click add. So what this is going to do, this is going to add in our contract to our contract register. If I now go to overall, this is going to add, was already Okay, wait, the big reveal. This is our overall out-of-the-box cost plan. If I expand into the budget, I can see the contract. The data's in there, 18 million. And what I can do as well, if I go to dashboard, my numbers are going to be updated. So before I was sitting at, whatever, 30. So I was sitting at roughly $12 million committed. So now updated this to 30. So our cost report's updated. We can extract that out in Excel. But what we're doing within Mastt, we just want to make this digestible and nice and create these automated visualizations for you. So this cost dashboard has now been generated. If I click this share drop down and go share link, I'm able to actually share a live view. So if I just enter in my email address, how good's that? I'm like trying to type when everyone's watching. I can create a link. So this is actually going to send me an automated email. But what this is going to do, it's going to send me an email that if I click the CTA, I'm actually going to be able to view a live real-time dashboard without actually having access to the system. So this is what a lot of our users are starting to do. So use AI upload, get all the data in. Like we saw, take seconds. These dashboard reports have been fully automated and updated and shared. So we're sort of changing the process a little bit. Again, away from that sort of monthly update, we're now viewing data in real time and fully transparent. All right, so that is our second AI disruptor. And we're going to jump into the third. So the third disruptor, and I'm sure a lot of you have heard about these, it's AI agents. And this is generally where things actually start to shift. So up until now, AI has mostly been assisting you you pull data in, helps you organize it. So for example, you might jump on ChatGPT and drag and drop an Excel file and ask it to clean up, restructure, summarize. You also ask it questions, it gives you answers. For example, you might be asking, so what's my variance for this month? It's going to analyze it and give it back to you. If it's really good, it might even help you build the report. So what we just looked at with Claude. So might take the data, turn it into a nice, clean sort of monthly extract for you. But the issue with this is there's a human still involved sort of at every step. So what's sort of actually changing now is sort of where AI is moving from assisting to sort of actually actioning. So we're starting to see sort of early versions of this already. I'm not going to say like it's fully set up and everything you can just set and forget. Like there is still a bit of human involvement, but yeah, with tools, it's not just whether you ask it a question, you actually now just assigning it tasks and actually does work for you. So instead of you constantly checking for updates, imagine if you've actually got something set up that's effectively watching the project for you already. So you've got an agent that is connected to your inbox, your email inbox. It's also going to be connected to your cost report. So don't know where your cost report is, but let's just imagine those two are joined up. So when a change order gets approved and you get your email, or a pay application gets sent through, this is going to be automatically linked and set up through the agent that will update that report for you automatically. So no one really has to go and find it. No one has to copy things across. It all just sort of updates and everyone's sort of viewing things in real time. So it's the same with sort of budgets and forecasts. Like instead of reviewing them once a month, these changes, they're constantly being updated with lots of different dynamic things that are moving because you're actually doing your day-to-day, remember. We don't want you spending time on this. So, and then if things sort of start trending over or a forecast shifts, there's alerts that can be sent out and without sort of having to go looking for it, which is always nice, or waiting for it, most importantly. And like I said, sort of instead of sort of building and sending reports, it's sort of always live and stakeholders always looking to have that latest version. And this agentic AI is definitely helping it. So it's going to sort of shift your role from not just pulling data together, but basically freeing you up to actually step in when something actually needs judgment. So you're essentially going to be managing outcomes rather than building reports, which is what we want to what we sort of want to achieve at the end of the day. So yeah, this one is, it's one big leap. These pieces sort of are starting to come together a little bit. But yeah, not quite there, but something to think of and something to definitely try to figure out how you can integrate into your workflow. And this is probably gonna set things up a little bit nicely now with this next section. Alrighty, so where do you actually sort of stand today? So that is the question. So we've looked at the evolution. We've sort of looked at current process. We've looked at what's is changing. So we've got our 3 disruptors. So AI in existing systems, AI being the system and able to generate various things as well as those agents. And now it's about understanding sort of where your team actually sits on that curve. And to be honest, and we'll touch on this first up, like construction, most teams are very much in the infancy and the early stages, and that is okay. It's very much about knowing what your next step is, and being able to start implement different things today to sort of get that going and get that ball rolling. I'm going to follow that bouncing ball a little bit. So let's take a look at sort of what that is looking like. All right. So before we get into you, let's have a look at the construction industry as a whole. So on the right, you'll see an image that's got construction managers and it's got some visuals. So this is actually a screenshot that is taken from the Anthropic Economic Index. They did a bit of an industry AI adoption report. So this is what Claude, and basically this is real data on how AI is actually being used by construction managers. So look, each square is actually a task, and the color shows how AI is involved. So that funny like olivey green color is AI is actually doing that task. Purple means that it's assisting, and beige means that it's not being used at all. So, and unless you're probably colorblind, what jumps out immediately is just actually how much beige there is here. So what this actually means is most of the work that construction managers and people in the industry are doing now isn't touched by AI in a meaningful way. So, and that headline number beneath it, if you're able to read, sort of says it all. So what this means is that construction managers represent just 0.04% of total AI used across sort of Anthropic. So like seriously alarming numbers, I suppose, but also exciting. And we'll get into that shortly. But you're probably thinking what that one olivey green color task is that is actually the majority of it is being automated. And I will quote, it is the plan, organization, or direct activities concerned with the construction or maintenance of structures, facilities, or systems. So seems like pretty basic generic stuff. It's not doing that like thorough analysis, and we're not leveraging it for tasks that are actually eating up a lot of our time. So that's sort of the construction industry at a whole. It's not just sort of like the role of sort of all of you, it's the entire industry. It's a bit of an attitude. And we can see in that headline across the top. So construction is one of the least AI-enabled industries globally. There's a massive gap of sort of what's technically possible today and what teams are actually doing on the ground. As we've sort of said, and you probably recognize that most firms and companies sort of already have software, but like we said before, like the core workflows, they're all still manual. So it's just sitting on top of a process that hasn't changed. So that gap and this lack of adoption is actually the opportunity. So the teams that move early aren't necessarily just going to save time, but this sort of understanding and usability, it's just going to compound month to month, and this advantage, you're just going to be able to leverage it. It's just going to sort of skyrocket and just set you from the competition, basically. And this isn't a threat; it's a window. People are quickly jumping on board, which is great to see. But yeah, definitely still room for growth, and something that I'm passionate about, and something that I know I work with a lot of my customers at doing, and how we can start streamlining these moving forward. All right, let's have a look at this AI evolution curve. So, what level are you in? So, where do you actually sit? So, this is sort of how we think about AI adoption in cost reporting. So, first up, level one, really basic, fully manual spreadsheets, copy and paste, chasing data. Level two, digitized. So we've got tools. You might even have an ERP, but the process itself hasn't really changed. All siloed, nothing really talking to each other. You're still a bit of a mailman, a bit of a post box, swinging stuff around. We then move up to level three, which is connected, and this is when sort of systems actually start talking to each other. So you're spending less time gathering data and more time actually reviewing it. So starting to send a bit of a value add, and you're differentiating yourself at this point as well. Level four is AI driven. So this is where reports start to get generated for you. It's automatic, it's consistent, it's what you want. You don't have to, don't really have to think about, and you're leveraging quite a few different tools. You've got your fingers in a few different pies. And then last one is level five, and this is autonomous. Like this is so like that God tier, and this just isn't AI generating reports. This is AI monitoring, update, flagging issues in real time. Like this is that agentic style of implementation that we're talking to. So this is you're not building anything. This is you're there purely as the expert, which is you're there from the beginning. We've freed you up. You're overseeing outcomes. You're managing those relationships. You're making sure things are getting delivered. You're getting it done. So where do sort of most people sort of fit on this, and sort of most teams that I see probably around that level two mark. So bit of a reflection of the data that we saw in that previous slide. It's not sort of fully manual. We're not fully connected yet, but we're getting in that right direction. So we are implementing these different systems. We're standardizing things. We're becoming what we call AI ready. So yeah, there's that inherent digitized system. Things are still siloed. Process needs to change. Trending in the right direction. That's where probably I'm seeing a lot of teams sort of at. All right. So next up is so how do you actually get started, and just a little bit of advice. So basically, I think like the biggest mistake is that teams think they need this like full transformation at the beginning. You don't. Just start with one thing, start small, pick one workflow, something that you do every month that is repetitive, that something can actually learn about. So that cost reporting, data cleanup, formatting, just identify that process and see how you can actually leverage these AI tools. Like we just saw that Claude. See if you can actually use something there. Second, I've already said use Claude, but this is leading into this point. So use what you've already got. So you don't need new tools. Start with the AI that exists in tools that you've already got access to. So that Claude plugin, I think it's like, don't quote me, but it's probably under $50 a month. And like what it just did was probably definitely saving you time. So you don't really need to look that far to get started and get confident and sort of to build your knowledge base with AI and how you can actually leverage it across different areas. Don't want to state the obvious, but just like data in, good data in equal good data out. Your inputs that you provide drive greater outputs. If you're vague, you'll get vague results. So the teams that win will learn how to be clear with sort of what they want, how they want to do it, and in what format. And then finally, you need to be able to drive this sort of internally, share what works. I know I work for a tech company, so we're very much obsessed with all this stuff, but we have an internal channel where we're constantly providing updates of things that we're reading on different feeds, on watching videos, YouTube, hell of a resource. And this sort of adoption this like spreading of news and insights and examples and updates internally drives and sort of builds that culture and pushes you. So yeah, if one person figures something out, all of a sudden that whole team levels up. And this is something that we're looking to do. All right, so we are almost at the end of this, and I'll just leave you with 4 things to take away. First up, waiting is a decision. I'm not like here to scare you with any of these things, but if you do nothing, that's still a choice. But the teams that fall behind won't be the ones who tried and failed implementing different things. They'll just be the ones who never started. They'll be the ones that left behind. It's important to probably be aware. So competition is already moving. So AI, and we'll get to this in the next point, AI isn't the risk itself. It's the company, the team, the organization down the road that is already using it before you do. AI doesn't replace you. We're big believers of, we think that AI is actually going to empower people in the industry. It's going to free you up to actually do your job rather than, which is like judgments, build relationships, rather than processing all sorts of different reports and doing that monkey work. Basically, invest your time where it matters. And finally, look, start now. Like I said, you don't need a full roadmap. Just sort of take one step this week and build from there. And that's sort of how shift actually happens. Okay, so I'll leave you with this. It'd be cool to see you try and build your first AI cost report this week, whether it's trying Claude, that sort of one workflow, one try, or we've got the ability, you can sign up for a free trial project on Mastt. You'll see on our website, hit that start for free. Feel free to hit me up at all if you need some help or want to reach out, or even if you just genuinely want to chat about the issue. I'm sort of really excited about all this, and recommendation, jump in, have a crack. And I really like the way that it's trending and moving forward. So thank you very much, everyone, for joining me. And I will catch you here next time. I'll see you later.